Nope.
Oh.
We alive. Okay. That's how Mondays be.
What?
Ready.
Ready like ready.
Yeah, I was in today yesterday.
And today. You
Yeah, remember we was coming off, you saw, oh, you wasn't, was you behind us?
No, y'all left me.
Oh, I left y'all, oh, okay.
Yeah, you left me.
That must have been Tony them behind
It
us.
was.
Cause I got ready to go left and then we ended up going right. What's up, family? We are live. I want you to hit the like button, hit the share button, tag Lolly Dolly, everybody. Let them know Prophet Ramon Preston, the squad, and the Ramon Preston Show. We are live and we are ready to get going for this absolutely amazing week. Please, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube. If you were Elon Musk and Mars, I want you to holler at the Martians and tell them the Ramon Preston Show is live. We have an amazing discussion that we're going to have today, which is going to be the setup for all the discussions we have this week. And so I want you to tag somebody. If you know some entrepreneurs, some go-getters, some hustlers, some grinders, if you got some individuals in your life, in your circle that you know are really trying their best to take their finances, their business, their ministries, their income streams, their wealth building dreams to the next level, you want to tag them. You want to invite them to join you today on the Ramon Preston Show. Thank all of you so much, all of our followers, all of our subscribers, all of our tribe members, those of you that continue to follow us on social media, those of you that continue to share our content, those of you that continue to ask questions and give us feedback. It's a game changer. So many people, and when I say so many people, I ain't capping. So many people are really being changed and transformed by the value that we're bringing to them. And so we want to continue to keep that trend going. We want to see a whole lot of you get to your next level. When I say get to your next level, I ain't talking about your next level in theory, okay? I'm not talking about something philosophically. I'm talking about you getting to your next level in terms of success, in terms of impact, in terms of creating freedom for you and for your family. That's what this show and that's what everything we're doing right now in our organization is all about. So please hit the like button, hit the share button. And for those of you that are coming on, I want you to drop the name of the city that you're watching from in the comments. We want to give a shout out to all of you. Whatever city you're watching from, whatever country you're watching from, please put that city in the comments. For those of you that don't know, let me let you know. I'm Ramon Preston. I'm the host of the Ramon Preston Show. We come every Monday through Friday, for real, live, giving you the business, giving you the game every Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock p.m. We use this platform, we use this show to share with you information to help you properly start, structure, and scale your business, your ministry, your income stream, or streams, and your wealth building dreams. This is exactly what we do. It's an extension. This whole show is an extension of our organization. That means our nonprofit and our for-profit organization. Our nonprofit organization is set up and structured as a network. We have a apostolic network of churches, ministries, and entrepreneurs where we provide covering, we provide accountability for those who are leading in ministry and or in business within the context of the Christian community. But this is also a reflection, this show is, of our consulting firm. We have a consulting division, we have a coaching division, and we have our world-class online university, Ramon Preston University, the #1 platform for ministry and marketplace training. And so we use this show as a vehicle to share with you the valuable information that we provide for people who are in our ecosystem. So even if you're not a part of our network, if you're not a client in our consulting firm, if you're not a member of our coaching program or enrolled in our online university, this is a way for you to really get the game, to really understand what our mission, what our assignment is about, especially within the season of this pandemic. I think it's really, really important for us to give people information that can help propel them out of this pandemic and into their prophesied place. So today is going to be the beginning of a whole series. This week is going to kind of like be a little churchy for me, because I'm gonna be preaching and teaching a series this week. I ain't preached and teached or taught a series in a while, so I'm gonna do a series this week. This week is gonna be on a series. Drop the city in the comments, please. Let me know what city you representing. All right, what cities we got representing?
North Lauderdale, Florida.
North Lauderdale, Florida. Shout out to Fort Lick. Fort Lick. I'm from the hood, ain't it? I can't stay straight for nothing. Like, I get intelligent and bougie like the first 60 seconds, and then right when I start shifting, I get ghetto. So shout out to Fort Lauderdale, Broward County.
Yeah, that's on Facebook, ATL.
ATL, we got ATL in the house.
Okay.
I'm so excited about all of my ATLers, all of y'all that are in the ATL, the north, the south, the east, and the west. So please drop the name of the city or the state or the country that you representing today. So again, this is going to be a series. This is going to be a series all week, and the series is going to be centered around, are you ready for this? Just in case you didn't see the description and the caption, it's going to be centered around my personal 25 rules of business. The 25 rules. Say what now? Yep. These are the 25 rules of business, to business, whatever you want to call it. There are 25 rules of business that I have extracted out of. I can't even tell you how many rules that I have read. You could Google rules of business and you're going to find thousands and thousands of rules. But I'm one of those people where, even though I take in a lot of information and I consume a lot of content, a lot of times I got to come up with my own version of stuff that works for me. Have you ever like read a book, or have you ever like been to a class or taken a course, or just been in a circle and gotten information and just felt like it really wasn't connecting with you or resonating with you until you kind of created your own version of it? And so these 25 rules to business are like my own personal rules to business. And they're basically an extraction of a whole lot of rules, a whole lot of principles. But these are my top 25. If I had to kind of pull 25 out of 2,500, this would be my top 25. So every day this week, beginning today, I'm going to give you 5. That's going to total 25. 5 today, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So by the end of this week, you're going to have Prophet Ramon's 25 rules to business. All right. So I'm going to give you 5 today. We got Ohio in the house. Yeah. Shout out to Ohio. I don't know what part of Ohio. Have I ever been to Ohio? I don't even know if I've ever been to Ohio. I don't think I have. I know Siobhan been there. I think she used to live there for some time. So shout out to my Ohio family. We love and appreciate all y'all in Ohio. We love and appreciate y'all in Lauderdale. I'm going to be down that way soon. I'm going to be in Dade County soon. I'm going to be going back and forth to Dade County. Big things popping for 2021, ain't it? Yeah. All right, so we got 25 rules to business. I'm going to give you the first 5 today. And every day this week, I'm going to give you 5 to make up these 25 rules to business. Yeah. And what better way than to start these 25 with one of my favorites? And I ain't gonna say I stole this one. I just took it from somebody that I want to pay homage to. He's a very popular author. His name is Stephen Covey. Some of you may have heard of Stephen Covey. And one of the best books that I've ever read was a book that he wrote called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's one of the first books I ever read. As a business person, as an entrepreneur. And man, that book was thick, but it was so good. And one of his 7 habits I'm adopting I'm not plagiarizing because I just gave him credit. So I'm adopting to make it the first of these 25. So we're going to start this week out real good with one of his principles in the book entitled The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. If you never read that book, I encourage you to read that book. That's a really, really good book. I read that book 20 years ago. What's 2021 now? Yeah, I read that book 20 years ago.
Wow.
20 years ago, that was one of the first business books. I remember it, yeah. I read that book. But the first book I read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was one of the first business books I read, in which I got it out of Goodwill. I was in Goodwill just shopping. I used to go in there and, just shop. Yeah, I was balling on a budget. I ain't had no money. That was 20 years ago, 21 years ago.
That's okay.
Yeah, hey, it is what I was homeless and balling on a budget, literally. But I used to go to Goodwill, buy them little $3 white shirts, the little cuff link shirts. They had little stains around the neck. Rich people used to put them in there. I used to find the old men's suits, and I made it work. I made it work. But the thing of it is, this is a quick story. I don't know why I'm telling y'all this. I love when we say that in church. I don't know why Mama Rosa was saying it yesterday, right? She was going in. So, yeah, my wife say it all the time. Yeah, I say it too. I don't know why I'm going this way, but I'm moving in that direction. But anyway, I'm in Goodwill. This is like 21 years ago, in 2000. I'm in Goodwill, and I'm looking for some shirts and some cheap, suits. And yeah, and so I see the book section. It really didn't dawn on me that they sold books.
Wow.
And back then, it really wasn't no big deal. You're talking about 21 years ago. But I go back there and I start fleshing through the books. They got a lot of those thick little small novels, 25 cents. And then I seen a little section where they had that was like for business. And the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, it's like, the colors on it stand out. And so I pulled it out and I was like, wow, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He looked, I didn't know if he was like Japanese or something, Robert Kiyosaki or whatever. I was like, wow, that looked like an interesting book. That was one of the first books on business that I read. I think it might have been the second book, or one of the first 5 books was Stephen Covey's book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Anyway, my first rule to business is one of Stephen Covey's rules. And that rule is, write it down, begin with the end in mind. That's a powerful rule.
That really is.
Begin with the end in mind. Now, I'm going to put a remix to it because I got my own version. So I'm explaining, I don't know all of what he wrote in his book about it. It was 20 years ago since I read it. But I want to explain to you what my version of beginning with the end in mind means to me and what it should mean to you in business. So I want you to write that down. My first rule to business is for you in business now to begin with the end in mind. I want you to write that down. Begin with the end in mind. Yep, begin with the end in mind. So you starting at point A, but you got to begin at point A with point Z in mind. You have to begin with the end in mind. Now, this is a very, very powerful business principle, and I'm going to break it down a little bit so you can explain it, because you can understand it. Because if you have enrolled in any of our programs on Ramon Preston University, I'm talking about our Blueprint Game Plan programs. You have a course in there. There's a course in our Blueprint Game Plan called The Entrepreneur's Guide to Business. The Entrepreneur's Guide to Business. And in that course, I teach about the fundamental principles of entrepreneurship and how, as you are guided as an entrepreneur into becoming a business owner, one of the first things that you have to do, even in establishing your business, is to create a company legacy and a company philosophy. Those are like bedrock principles that I teach to entrepreneurs who want to get in business. You have to create a company legacy and a company philosophy. So when you think about this first rule of beginning with the end in mind, it's really about you starting your business off with understanding what your overall legacy is. Like, what do you want your legacy to be through your business? What do you want your legacy to be through your ministry? This is one of the fundamental bedrock principles I teach to entrepreneurs, even people who are already in business or ministry. When I help them restructure their business, they'll always tell you that I bring them to the top of that mountain and show them you need to think about your legacy when you're naming your business, when you're structuring your business, when you're packaging your products and services in your business, when you're forming your business entity. All that should be viewed through the lens of the end in mind, which is your legacy. Okay? So my company should be built around not my current situation. My business should be built around not where I'm at right now. My business and my company needs to be built around where do I want it to be in 100 years? How do I want my legacy to be remembered? This is why you have to begin with the end in mind. So the best way for me to explain how you begin with the end in mind is by you creating a company legacy. Like, what is the overall mission or purpose of that business you want to start? It can't be money. It can't just be to love the Lord. It can't just be to glorify God. All that sounds good. All that makes sense in its proper context. But at the end of the day, there has to be some overall objective, overall mission, overall purpose that you want this vehicle called the business to produce for you and for the people who come behind you to lead and to run that business. That's a company legacy. Your company needs a legacy. I heard someone say that Steve Jobs, when he was like really building Apple out before Apple became what Apple is, that his objective or his legacy was to like not just put phones or these devices in everybody's hands, but he wanted to kind of like ding the universe. That was a phrase that I heard someone say. Steve Jobs' mindset was, I want to ding the universe. You know what I mean? I want to use these devices to like put a ding on the universe. That was a legacy. So think about how much it takes to literally ding the universe. It might take more than Steve Jobs' life, which we see it's still progressing. Apple's still coming out with products. Think about Jeff Bezos with Amazon, how he wanted to change the way we buy products and services, right? Think about Mr. Sam Walton, how when he first started Walmart and when he was actually understanding the retail game, he wanted to change retail, like period. He wanted to dominate it. You got to have a company legacy. So when you begin your business with the end in mind, you got something bigger than, man, I just need a couple dollars. Or I'm just trying to find me $1 today. Or I just need to hustle. I just need some extra money. When you start a business like that, with that kind of stuff in mind, you already lost. Because your legacy is what's going to keep you moving through a lot of things that are inevitable that you're going to go through when you start a business and when you're running a business every day. All right. So we want to begin with the end in mind. You do that by creating a company legacy. Remember the second part of that, and a company philosophy. So what do you mean by philosophy? A philosophy is a set of views. A philosophy is a set of values. So if I sat down with you and you said you got a business idea, okay? Or you already have a business in operation, or even a ministry or a nonprofit. If I ask you, what is like your business legacy? Do you actually know what it is? If you don't know what it is, that means you have not begun with the end in mind. You got to go back to the beginning. I ain't talking about your little logo. I'm not talking about your 501c3 determination letter. I'm not talking about your articles of organization for your LLC. I'm not talking about how you capitalize certain acronyms to make your business sound bougie. I'm not talking about your website, how awesome it is. I'm not talking about your physical location. I'm not talking about the products and the services that you have outsourced to China and now they sending it to you in bulk. I'm talking about legacy. I'm talking about something that's intangible. This is how you got to begin your business. Before you sell the first t-shirt, you got to know what your company legacy is. Before you launch your domain name, you got to know what that legacy is. If not, you're not going to survive. Listen, there is a logic behind the fact that 9 out of 10 businesses fail within the first 1 to 3 years. There's a logic behind that. There is a reason why 9 out of every 10 businesses that you can think about in your name that start this year, 9 of them are going to fail in the first 1 to 3 years. I'm really trying to change that dynamic in my coaching program. Because believe me, we got more than 10 people in our business coaching program who signed up for the 1-year business coaching program, and the devil is a lie. 9 of them ain't finna fail, not on my watch. I'm a get on their behind every day before I let 9 out of 10 businesses fail. But those are statistics. There's a logic behind that. And the logic behind that is how they start, how they begin. They don't begin with the end in mind. Okay? So you have to create a company legacy. And then you need to create a company philosophy. Your philosophy is your set of values and views. It's just some stuff we believe that we're not settling for nothing other than what we believe. So everybody that's around me that works with me in my business, they not talking crazy. They not thinking crazy. They not thinking small. They not talking small. You know why? Because they know I have a philosophy. They know I have a set of values and views that I believe, that I live by, and I ain't going for nothing less than that. So you can't come to me, well, we trying, and I don't know if we're going to be able to make it. I don't know. What you mean you don't know? Well, we trying. That language is not in the vocabulary of my organization. It ain't that we trying and we hope we can. No, dog. No, boo. You're in the wrong ecosystem. You got to find a business or organization that's going to settle for those kind of words. We use big words over here. But why do we do that? Because we have a company legacy and a company philosophy, because somebody took the time out to make sure that they began with the end in mind. You got it? Yeah. All right. So if you have a problem with creating a company legacy and a company philosophy, I would be more than happy to work with you on that. We have a training program online, virtual, that we can help you with to familiarize you with those types of systems in terms of creating a company legacy and a company philosophy. And guess what? We're willing to work with you one-on-one just to push you through that barrier or that blockage or that box you might be in if you don't know how to formulate a company legacy and a company philosophy. So the first rule to business is begin with the end in mind. That was good. All right, here's my second rule to business. Always lead with attitude, information, and service. I'm telling you, I'm giving y'all gold right now. This might be platinum. Always lead with attitude, information, and service. Always lead. Always lead. Because I'm gonna be talking about some things. I wanted to when I said the word lead, I thought about how people want to start businesses. They want to start, but I'm gonna talk about this one day this week. Some people want to start businesses because they want passive income. That's not a business. Instead of you saying you want to start a business, you really want to find an investment. There's a fundamental difference. You might just need to find an investment. Okay, if you want to start a business, you're not going to be passive starting a business. It's just no such thing. All right. And the people who are like tricking you into thinking you can create a passive business. Okay. Yeah. We just leave that for them to keep tricking you into believing that, because they somewhere like on an island of Patmos by themselves, you know, half naked with baby oil on them, acting like they just making $1 million a day by selling you their online course or whatever. I mean, just stupid. Either way, we'll get with that some other day this week. But you got to lead. If you're going to lead, if you're going to start a business, that means you got to lead. That means you can't just think, oh, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to hire 15 people, and I'm going to just, you know, do some drop shipping on the side, and I'm going to just do some affiliate marketing, and I'm going to just have links going out every day, and I'm going to just make a boatload of money. The few people who do get away with that still have to run a business at some point if they're going to have a business. They still have to do something every day. They still have to go through some type of process every day. My point is, you starting a business, guess what? You got to lead that business. And if you're going to lead that business, I'm telling you, you got to lead that business with what? Attitude, information, and service. Now, when I say attitude, I'm talking about an amazing attitude. Hey, Ramon, how you doing? I'm doing amazing. Like I'm not going to be around here every day. Hey, how you doing? You coming into the office. How you doing, Dad? I don't know, Dad. It's just one of them days today. I don't know. This ain't it. I don't think we going to make it. I mean, at some point, you're going to be like, well, dog, you supposed to be the CEO. Like, I need you to motivate me. If I'm dragging it here, I ain't feeling this. I don't know. It's like, you got the wrong attitude. You should have thought about that before you started a business and hired people. You get what I'm saying? And made commitments. No, it's my job is to have the right attitude. My job is to dig deep to come with the best attitude so that everybody can know, oh, he owns something right now. I don't care if I got to drink coffee, if I got to pray in the Holy Ghost for 30 minutes. I don't care if I got to run laps. I don't care if I got to swim. I don't care if I got to, like hang upside down for an hour. I got to get that attitude right so that when I walk into this business, I'm showing up. I'm showing up, and I'm not just showing up like 20%. I'm showing up on 100 because I have an attitude of gratitude. First of all, God, I appreciate the opportunity. That's what we do when we walk in this office every day. We thank the Lord. We praise God. We pray. We speak in tongues. We do what we do because we're appreciative. This is an attitude of gratitude. And here's the truth. I don't wait till I get to the office to do that. When I wake up in the morning, this is the day that the Lord has made. I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. I'm going to win my day because I'm winning my morning. And I'm going to bang out early in the morning before the sun come up. So when the sun comes up and I got to get my day started, I'm already with the right attitude. I'm popping, I'm flowing. So the second rule to business is always lead with number one, attitude. Attitude. Someone said, I don't know who said it, but it sounds good, so I guess I'll just say it here. Your attitude determines your altitude. Your attitude determines your altitude. So how high your attitude can go kind of like determines how your altitude will go. So if you're like way down here with your attitude, you ain't feeling it today. I can't work with people like that. I'm not going to tell you no lie. I don't think I'll ever hire nobody that got that kind of attitude. They walking through the door. How you doing? I ain't doing today. It's just, I don't like Mondays. I hate Tuesdays. Just something about Wednesdays. Yeah, Thursdays just, Fridays, I got the heebie-jeebies. You know what? Just stay your behind home. Matter of fact, let me write you your last check. Matter of fact, you owe me for putting up with this crap. You get what I'm saying? Your attitude is everything. Your attitude is everything. Some of you got good products. You got good services. I'm going to be honest with you. Some of y'all got good jobs and you ruin them because of your attitude. Don't nobody want to buy nothing from somebody with a nasty attitude or just with a bad attitude, a horrible attitude, or a low altitude. Think about what I just said. If your attitude is your altitude, how low is your altitude? Like you supposed to be flying in a Gulfstream 650 and you way down here in like a golf cart. That's where your attitude is. You got to come on up there. You got to come on up. See, I want people to know my attitude is a reflection of my products and services. So I want people to feel like, man, if his products and services are like his attitude, I mean, if he giving me the kind of service that his attitude reflects, I'm gonna be good. So you always lead with attitude. You gotta get, and guess what? If your attitude is off, I'm gonna tell you why your attitude is off. Your information is off. Your environment is off. What you believe is off. It goes back to the first rule. Your philosophy is off. Your values and views are off because they're reflecting your attitude. So you got to lead with attitude, especially all of you that's business owners. All of you got organizations. Lead, number one. Get out in front. Get out. Well, I'm just an introvert. Well, guess what? You're going to be a broke introvert. I'm just an introvert. Well, your business is an introvert. That's why nobody knows the business and nobody is attracted to the business, because the business is a reflection of your introverted personality. You got to extrovert that introvert. Oh, I forgot. You go to therapists and they done tricked you into thinking that it's okay for you to be who you are. Well, you just maintain that personality. Just know it's going to negatively affect how you do business. And don't give me no lame excuse about the few people who are introverted, who are silent, who stand in the backgrounds, who are never seen. They're anomalies. The few people that do that are anomalies. All the rest of us, 99.9% of us that are in business, we have to be out front. We got to talk to customers. We got to communicate. We got to serve. We got to show forth effort. We got to present ourselves. We got to sell ourselves. We got to connect with people. We got to network. We got to cross-pollinate. We actually have to work. The few people who are not doing that probably had to do it early on and put themselves in a position where they didn't have to, or they're just like nerds and they figured it out, just like Mark Zuckerberg. Okay, so you see him publicly, he quiet, he timid, he ain't really talking that much. You know, he's very selective in his words. Who's to say he's like that around his staff? Who's to say he's like that around? We don't know how that man is. Unless you know him personally, then you could correct me on that. But if you like me watching from afar, you can't determine and conclusively say that this is how he is so I can be that way. We're not him. We're building businesses like 99.9% of the population. So that means we have to lead with attitude. And then here's what else. Once you get your attitude right, you got to now lead with information. So all of you business owners that are out there talking about, well, I ain't sharing the best stuff. Well, that's why you're losing. That's why your business is not moving, because you need to take the best information and put it out front. People need to know they can come to you and get information. I was just having this conversation yesterday with somebody while we were sitting at dinner, and I was showing him one of my apps. I was showing him one of my apps that's connected to one of our social media page, and all the comments are, you got a few comments and then all you see is questions. People just asking questions to me about business, about finance, about taxes, about holding companies, about everything that I give information about. You know why? Because they know I got the information because I'm sharing it. I ain't around here, well, you just click that link now. So when you click that link, I'm gonna really give you the game. It's like, when you gonna give me some game? Because I'm not sold on it until you sell me on it. So you got to give me something to make me believe that you actually know what you're talking about. This is one of the reasons why I don't mind doing free consultations. There are a lot of free consultations I give to people, and I give them information. I answer all their questions. And after about 20, 30 minutes, they're like, okay, thank you. All right. You're welcome. Appreciate you. Thanks for what you're doing. All right, I appreciate you supporting. And we hang up and they move on. They never buy nothing. But guess what they got? They got information, and they always got to know that person gave me real information. And it really helped me, even if I didn't buy anything. So my point is, you got to always lead with attitude. You got to always lead with information. If you are in business, figure out how you can take what you provide in your business and how you can lead with information about it, sharing it with people, giving it away. I would give the best part of that information away. Why not? Why not? Some people are holding on to information. Well, no, this is the stuff I give you when you buy something from me. Here's the problem. Nobody's buying nothing from you. So if nobody's buying it from you, the market is actually telling you we can't buy something we actually don't know about. So I have to share it with you. I got to show it to you. I got to give you information. And then once I get enough of information, I may buy something from you, which leads me to the third thing you got to lead with, and that's service. Because let me tell you something. If you got the right attitude and then you're sharing the right information, sometimes that's still not enough. Sometimes that's still not enough. Sometimes that's still not enough. And the only thing that separates some people from other people in business is not their attitude and information, which they play a very important role, but it's their service. It's their service. I can have two companies that provide the same thing, and one company can have a better price than the other company. I may pay a higher price for the other company just because of the service that I get. Just because I like how they make me feel when I walk in there. Just like yesterday. Yesterday was an example. We decided to take my wife, my mother-in-law, my sister, and a few others. We decided to go out to dinner yesterday. It was kind of like a last-minute situation, I think, right after church. So we knew Mother's Day was going to be packed now. We knew every restaurant was going to be packed. But because of this Thai restaurant that's right beside our building, we go there so many times. Like, I mean, come on, they like first cousins to us. They know us, we know them. When we walk in there, we hugging each other because they know us. It was so funny. You seen the girl that showed up last night, our girl? But I'm bringing that up to say that my wife called one restaurant, a local restaurant here in Buckhead. She called them. I think you called them too, daughter. You called, personal assistant called, then my wife called. They was like, number one, we can't take reservations over the phone. And number two, the line's too long. You're not going to get in, okay? Especially if you got a crowd. But my wife called the restaurant that always does their best to provide us service. My wife got on the phone. We driving up here now. We like 20 minutes away, and it's like 12, it was about 12 of us. And my wife is on the phone like, hey, this is Preston. Oh, I could hear them getting bubbly on the other side. Hey, hey, hey. She was like, yes, this is Preston from next door. They was like, oh, how you doing, whatever. My wife was like, we got 10, 12 people that's showing up. They was like, she was like, how? I guess they asked her, how long? She said, how long, honey? I was like, maybe 20 minutes. She was like, 20 minutes. The manager went and got another general manager, and the general manager came on there and was like, just come on, we got you. You good. Bingo. Guess what that's called? Service. That's called service. That means they wanted to provide. And guess what? A lot of times we'll go there with big groups of people, even though it might be some cheaper prices of restaurants outside of that restaurant. We'll just go there and pay a premium just because of the service. So some of you, if you got products and services that you provide that other people in your market are providing, you got to beef that service up. You got to lead with service. I was just giving that example Friday on the show, how if I'm selling a bottle of water, that's a product. But I can add a service to that bottle of water by delivering it to your house. But I can go further. I can say, not only will I deliver it to your house, but I'll build a relationship with you and I'll put it in your refrigerator. I'll break the box up. I'll take the box with me. I'll line up your water. And guess what? If you need me to come back later because y'all having dinner, I'll serve you the water. If you're going to pay for it. You get what I'm saying? So I'm willing to at least give you all that service, because if I put that on the list and you saw, oh, he sells water, but he also has a delivery service. And if you give him a key, he'll open the door, put it in the refrigerator, line it up, take the boxes with you. And if y'all having a special event, he'll come serve the water. I'm going to just put all that service on the list. So at least you know I'm leading with what I know I have. Because if my attitude gets me in the door, if my information keeps me in the door, that service is going to give me a seat in the room. Boom, shakalaka. You just missed it. Did you hear what I said? If my attitude gets me in the door, I said if my attitude gets me in the door, and the information about my business that I give you for free keeps me in the room, guess what? My service is going to get me a seat in that room. And that's how you need to think about attitude, information, and service. Here's the third rule to business. Oh my God, this is so good. For those of you that are enjoying what I'm talking about, I want you to put in the comments, hashtag value. Hashtag value. If you're enjoying it, hashtag value. My third rule to business is set clearly defined goals. Please do this. Set clearly defined goals. I go over my goals every day in my head, and if I don't go over them every day in my head because my brain is feeling lazy early in the morning, I'll pick up my composition where I have my goals written down and I'll read my goals. If I'm just really feeling it, I'll pull out my goal setting template and I'll write down all my goals fresh every day, every day, every day. You know why? Because I have created clearly defined goals. So the third rule to business is set clearly defined goals. Set clearly defined goals. Set clearly defined goals. Now listen, you're going to have to learn to compartmentalize your goals, which means you can't mesh all your goals together. Well, I got goals for my health. I got goals for my mind. I got goals for my feet. I got goals for my eyes. I got goals for my toes. I got goals for this and goals for that. I'm talking about business. What are your business goals? And in order to set clearly defined goals, I do a lot of teaching on goal setting. So let me kind of simplify this for you. Here is how you set clearly defined goals. What do I want to accomplish in the next 12 months? Let me set a clearly defined goal. It's May right now. It's May 10th. So we got how many more months remaining in this year? June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So let's say we got 7.5 months remaining, right? So let's say if I want to make $70,000 within the next 7.5 months, that's like $10,000 a month. Let's say that, right? Okay, well, I got to set a goal. My goal is to make, or let's say some of you like, you know what, Prophet Ramon, that's too low. I want to make at least 6 figures. Okay, we'll go with 6 figures. So that means you want to make at least $100,000 by December 31st. Here's how you set clearly defined goals. Okay, well, that means if I'm going to make $100,000 by December 31st, I have to clearly define that goal and set it in stone. So now my goal, which is my dream, it needs a plan. And in order for me to put my dream into a plan, I have to clearly define it. So I want 6 figures by December the 31st. Well, I got to pull out my calculator. I got to put 100,000 in there, and I'm going to divide it by 7.5 because we got 7.5 months remaining. That means every month from today on, you got to make $13,333. Right? That's what you got to make every month for the next 7.5 months. $13,333. Well, if you got 7 months, that's, let's say if it's 4 weeks in a month, that's what? 28, 29, that's 30 weeks. So if I take 13,333 divided by 30, that means, got that right? 13,333 divided by 4, 33 times 30. Okay, so that's about $3,300. That's about $3,300. Let me see, 13,000 divided by 4. So that's $3,300 a week. If you make $3,300 a week times 30 weeks, that's $100,000. So that means if you want to make 6 figures this year from May 10th to December 31st, that means you got to make $13,333 every month to December 31st, which means every week for the next 30 weeks, you got to make $3,300. So how do you make $3,300? You got to clearly define it. You got to figure out how many products you have, how many services you provide, and what is the medium or the middle price. So let's say if you got a $20 product, a $100 product, a $500 product, and a $1,000 product. Your average product might be $200. So you got to take 33, you have to take 33, and you have to divide that by 200, because that's how much you got to make every week. 33 divided by 200. That means you got to sell 16 products a week at $200 every week for 30 weeks to make $100,000 a year. That's how you set clearly defined goals. Not just by writing something down. Well, I want to make $100,000 this year. I want to be a millionaire by December 31st. I want me a Bugatti by Christmas. I want $1 million house by December 10th. Guess what? None of that's going to happen if you just writing words down. You have to clearly define those goals. All right? That's the third rule to business. Number 4. This might be a controversial one. If y'all have any questions, feel free to drop the questions in the comments, okay? We got a question? Oh.
No.
Drop the question in the comments, or you can dial 678-922-1963 extension 1. 678-922-1963 extension 1. And we will answer your question. So here's the 4th rule to business. I got 25 of them, y'all. So this is going to be an awesome week. The 4th rule to business. This is going to be a controversial one here. Are you ready for this one? Bigger is better. That's a tough one. I know it's a controversial one. Bigger is better. Bigger is better. Now remember, I'm not talking about, for all you church folks, I'm not talking about you doing ministry. I'm not talking about your church, okay? We're not talking about, oh, you got to have a mega church. Because a lot of times when you're a church person, when you're a Christian, and you have a certain set of values and views, and then you try to go into business and bring those values and views, a lot of times you hinder yourself because of your religious beliefs. You block yourself because of theology, not because of your relationship with God. Because a lot of the barriers that you have as a Christian in business, those barriers are not based on your relationship with God. Them barriers ain't compromising your holiness. Them barriers ain't watering down your righteousness. Those barriers are religious barriers. They are traditional barriers. They are theological barriers. Barriers that you have created being a Christian based on how you view God and based on what you think God thinks of business and finances in life. Has nothing to do with your relationship with God. So when it comes to business, okay, we're not talking about your godliness. We're not talking about your righteousness. We're not talking about your holiness. We're not talking about your highness, if you think you're that high, okay? We're talking about business. We're talking about business. When it comes to business, this is my 4th rule to business. When it comes to business, bigger is better. Somebody say that. Bigger is better when it comes to business. I want you to really catch that. I know somebody don't agree with what I'm saying. No, dog, you off with that one. Bruh, no, because God ain't with all that. It ain't always about big. Here's the problem with that. Bigger is not better, said no one who had something bigger. Did you catch that? Huh? Bigger is never better, said no one who had something bigger. Nobody who built a bigger business said bigger ain't better. And if they did, they was lying, or they just got to a place that they were so big that they could actually say that and it meant nothing. The truth is, bigger is better because the bigger your business is, the better your life is. The better other people are. The better your church is. The better your community is. The better your legacy is. Because it takes more to do more. So I want you to get that in your mind. Bigger is better. And here's another way you could kind of swallow that pill if it's tough to swallow. I want you to think of the word big and understand that the word big is like synonymous with growth. Big is synonymous with maturity. When something gets bigger, it actually what? Grows. When something gets bigger, it actually what? Matures. If you've ever had a child, if your child stays small, something wrong with it, right? You have to take your child to the doctor and be like, I don't know why my child is not growing. Or I don't know why my child is not getting bigger. Why they're not developing. There may be something wrong with it. Or if you bought a plant and you put seed in the ground and you got a little tree that start growing, but it stopped. You're going to be questioning, why is this thing that's supposed to get bigger ain't getting bigger? Because you connect being bigger with growth until it's time for you to start a business. You connect bigger with maturity until it's time for you to go get the bag. You connect bigger with expansion until it's time for you to be held accountable to do more work and to be more efficient in what you're doing so that you can get financially free. Because when it comes to those things, then we start making excuses. Well, yeah, big ain't always better, said no one who actually had a bigger business. Well, it ain't all about big and getting it all. Well, what is it all about? What is it? Because it ain't all about staying small. It ain't all about being broke. It ain't all about staying stuck. Now, if that's where you are, then stay there and live in it, but don't justify it by making those of us who believe bigger is better are wrong. Because we're not wrong. You might not be wrong, but don't make us wrong. Because bigger is better. And when it's bigger, that means it's growing. My spiritual father used to always make this statement, and I adopted it. I mean, one of the first statements he used to make when we first met 19 years ago, I love Dad Jones so much. He went on to be with the Lord last year in 2020, but he was when I tell you he was a man, we was talking about him Saturday at my spiritual mom's book signing, but we were talking about how big of a man of faith he was, and how he would just step out and he would always prophesy and speak into me and my wife's life about being in ministry and being in the marketplace. He was like one of the first ones who really just like dug into that thing, like, y'all marketplace ministers, it's all on you. You supposed to be in business. You gonna get it. You gonna have it. You gonna get there. And I'm like, oh my God. In other words, he always thought big. And he was straight up. He was like, son, it ain't for me to do. It's going to be for you to do. But I'm going to put everything I got in me and you so that you can just reach your full potential. But Dad Jones used to always say this. He used to say, healthy things grow, growing things change, and changing things challenge. He used to always say that. I'll say it one more time. Healthy things what? Grow. So if it's not growing, it's not healthy. Healthy things grow, but then he would say growing things change. So if it's healthy, it's growing. If it's growing, it's changing. He says, but changing things challenge. So if it's changing, that means it's challenge. So there could be a possibility that if your business is not healthy, it's not growing. If your business is not growing, it's not changing. If your business is not changing, it's because it's not being challenged. So you got to challenge yourself psychologically to believe bigger is actually better. All for the last several weeks, even before, I think before we moved into this new suite, I was always talking about when we came into the new year, oh, I want to hire 10 people. Oh, I want this many people. I want this many salespeople. I want us to, I'm already seeing the growth. I'm like, yeah, I want to hire 10 salespeople. I want to hire marketing. I want to have a marketing division. I want to have an IT, internet, online support. I want to have back office. I want to have an administrator. I'm already like growing in my mind. I already see it. So when it was time to move into a bigger space, a suite, a wing, guess what? I'm like, I already saw it. Let's go for it. Because I know bigger is better. We can serve more people. We can help more people. We can bless more people. We can make a bigger impact as long as we're willing to be bigger because we know bigger is better. Got it? Here's my fifth and final one of the day. My fifth and final rule to business today. Boy, I know that rubs some people the wrong way because they just love small. Some people just love small. Some people just love being small. Some people love being small. And I don't have a problem with somebody being small. If you want to be small, if you want your business to be small, go ahead and be small, but just don't justify it. That's what get on my nerves. Why you justify that? Well, it ain't all about big. It ain't all about having it all. Well, it ain't all about not being big. It ain't all about having nothing. I've been there, and I don't want to go back to that. I grew up impoverished. I don't want to live my life impoverished. Here's my fifth and final rule to business. 2 words, 2 simple words. Prioritize system. Whoop, there it is. Mic drop. Prioritize system. Now, system is an acronym. System is an acronym for saving yourself stress, time, energy, and money. You have to prioritize system. In business, you have to prioritize system. My wife really helped me with that because I remember when we first started our first business, and I used to be so frustrated because I was like, man, I just can't get this thing off the ground. I can't get it going. I'm out there hustling and grinding and scraping and scrapping. And I used to be barking at my wife like, I need your help. I need you to help me. I know you're a manager. You've been to college. You've been a store manager. You're a professional. I need your help. And I didn't understand it at first, because my wife used to always say, I don't mind helping you, honey, but I'm used to systems. She used to always say that. She used to be like, I'm used to systems. Her point is, she used to work for like major corporations. She used to manage stores, right? In retail, at malls. And so these major corporations had systems. All she had to do is make sure the inventory was right. When she needed to reorder it, they had a system to order. They had a system for hiring. They had a system for scheduling. She managed it all, but she was managing people and systems that these people were in. And she used to always say it, and I couldn't figure it out. And I remember finally, it took me a while. I ain't gonna hold you up. It took me a while. But I finally went to God. I was like, Lord, man, I ain't got nobody to help me. I'm trying to get to the next level, and I need my wife to see the vision and the revelation and my family and blah, 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 blah. And the Holy Ghost was like, first of all, have several seats. Number 1, sit down. And then once you have several seats and sit down, let me show you something. And it was really the Holy Ghost starting to show me. And I remember I went back to my wife and we sat down, and my wife started explaining to me. She was like, honey, I don't mind helping you and stepping in and doing what you need me to do. But as a manager, I work well when I can be put into something that's already operating. You can't expect for me to do it, to create it. I'm not the creator like that. I'm not the implementer. I'm not the innovator. That's your strength. That's what you do. And I remember that conversation I had. That was one of the last conversations me and my wife had. And I set out, I was like, man, I got to figure this thing out. I said, because the next time I go to my wife, because remember, by this point, my wife, she would be on properties, hustling. And every 6 months, I used to be telling her, you don't need to be on them properties. You need to be with me in the office. We need to be working together, doing business together. God called us together. And she would be like, all right, honey, here we go. And then like 3 months after that, she like, honey, ain't nothing changed yet. I'm like, well, honey, you might have to just go on back, find a property, give me about 8 more months. And then she did it. And then like 9 months later, she like, all right, I'm good. I'm stable. I got my properties good. And here I come back again. Honey, I'm telling you, God is in this one now. This thing here finna go. We finna do this. And she like, all right, baby. And I was like, put that notice. Tell them people on that property, you got to be free. And then like 3 months later after that, what had happened was, I was just trying, and I think I'm gonna need about another year. And she just was like, dog, please, when you figure this out. But her point, she had one of the best points, and it helped me. You need systems. You need to put systems together, not just for me, but for anybody who you want to work with you. And that's when I really set out to create systems. So now I'm like a system person. If I can't figure out a system to do it, I don't want to do it, because I already know it's not going to work but for so long. So you have to prioritize system. You have to have things, right? Processes in your business that use the acronym for system, that saves you stress, time, energy, and money. If it's not a system that works, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, because you're going to be too inconsistent, because you don't have systems. You're going to be too inconsistent. So prioritize system. Now, there are certain systems you got to have in your business. You got to have like executive systems for you as a CEO. You got to have sales systems. You got to have marketing systems. You got to have financial systems. And you have to have operational systems. Those are some of the basic systems you got to have in order for your business to work, because your business is actually a system of exchanges. So those are the 5 top rules to business. I have 25. So every day this week, I'm going to give you 5 each day. Those are the first 5. Number 1, begin with the end in mind. Number 2, always lead with attitude, information, and service. Number 3, set clearly defined goals. Number 4, bigger is better. And number 5, prioritize system. Prioritize creating processes and things in your business that save you stress, time, energy, and money. For those of you that have enjoyed this and you feel like there's something more that you might need, especially when it comes to you building infrastructure for your business, for your ministry, for your income streams, or whatever it is that you want to set out to do in 2021, we have a 1-year business coaching program. I'm about to close it, by the way, because it was initially a 90-day coaching program that we were offering, and I wanted to open it up and extend it to as many people as possible, to make it reasonable, to make it cost effective, but to make it easy for a lot of our tribe members and our close family members, friends to get into it. And so we're already 6 weeks into our 1-year business coaching program. And I just spoke to my wife, my personal assistant, and I hadn't even talked to everybody else that we're connected with on our squad to let them know that we're getting ready to close this window. So if you would like to be a part of our 1-year business coaching program, it's actually the most efficient and effective way to help you so that we can provide for you the services that you need to start your business or to restart it, to structure it, to restructure it, and to really scale it. Even if you don't have a business yet, but you have ideas. You got things that you want to do. Sometimes it's just about you positioning yourself in a program like our business coaching program so that we can help you in your personal life, so that as we build your personal life, we can integrate that success of your personal life into your professional life as a CEO and as a legitimate business owner. So we're offering only for a limited time before we close it. I already know there's going to be a whole lot of people that know us that's going to be reaching out to us in a couple months saying, y'all still ain't got that 1-year business coaching program open? Nope. That same coaching program that I'm sorry, somebody's out there. That same coaching program, hey, how you doing? Hey, come on in. You good? Come on in, bro. That same coaching program that you overlooked for 1 year, you're going to have to pay for it for 90 days. It's going to still be the same impact, but it's not going to be as extensive as it possibly can. So just let us know what we can do to help you. How you doing, bro? Good. Okay, Mr. HQ3 is in his house. We about to close this thing out. We about to bring it to a close. Siobhan says, you definitely want to get into the coaching program if you got a business. All right, y'all. So please reach out to us. Is the information in the comments?
Yes.
Okay, so if you would like to be a part of that 1-year business coaching program, just text coaching to 404-478-7213. So I got 20 more rules to business this week. These were good.
Yeah.
These were good. Number 1, begin with the end in mind. Please read that book, because I didn't plagiarize that. I just took it from Stephen Covey. All right? So I can't get arrested for stealing. I didn't steal it. I gave him the credit. Begin with the end in mind. Read Stephen Covey's book. What is it called? I forgot. 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. All right? That's the first rule to business. Second rule to business, always lead with attitude, information, and service. If you're in business, get that attitude up. Your attitude is your altitude. So if your attitude is low, that means your altitude is low. You got to find another level of energy, and you got to give that to the people you come into contact with. Give them as much information as you can. If you give people everything you know, it's not like they're going to use it. People tell me stuff all the time that's really good, that I know is like valuable, that I would probably have to pay for. And then later on that day, I'm like, dawg, what they said? And I forgot. He said something that was like, you just forget it. 90% of the information you give to people, they're not even going to use it. They're going to forget it by tomorrow. So go ahead and give it to them. And then you want to lead with service. Start packing that service on. How many more things can I give you to make what I'm offering you even more valuable? You got to lead with that. You got to lead with that. I don't care if it's a product. If I got a product, I'm going to try to figure out how much service I can provide with that product to make the product feel like, oh my God, I got to take it. All right. Number 3, set clearly defined goals. If you're going to set clearly defined goals, you got to have a calculator, because you can't just write down that information. You got to clearly define it. So that means you got to reverse engineer it back to today. You got to do the numbers on it to figure out, if this is what I want to achieve in this amount of time, how much money do I have to make every day, every week, every month till I hit that goal? And how many products and services do I actually have to sell? Once you get that clearly defined goal, now it's easy to figure out, well, how many people do I got to reach? Like, how many people do I got to talk to sell one of those products if I got to sell 20 of them a week? That's how you're going to start really working on fulfilling those goals, which are dreams with plans. And then number 4, bigger is better. Don't let nobody tell you, especially if they saved and they super deep and they just think, oh, you ain't got to be big to be better. The devil is a liar. That only works in church auxiliary. That only works in certain circles of like nonprofit charity. And even nonprofit charity, think about nonprofits and charities. Goodwill is like a charity. They like a nonprofit. And they bigger than some companies. Goodwill is huge because they know big is better. The more Goodwills they can open, the more goodwill they can do. So you got to think about that. Bigger is better. I got to get bigger because bigger is growth. Bigger is expansion. Bigger is maturity. You got to grow. You got to expand to be able to get better at what you do. And number 5, prioritize system. You gotta create processes, things that save you stress, time, energy, and money. If you want to be a part of that business coaching program, I want you to text 404-478-7213. We love y'all. We'll see y'all tomorrow with Rules to Business 6 through 10. 6 through 10 tomorrow. All right, have an amazing day.